Tavo, the mitzvah of bikurim, the offering of first fruits, unfolds an occasion where the affluent and the humble journey to Yerushalayim, presenting the harvest's initial yield to the Kohen in a rich ceremony. A curious contrast emerges. The wealthy's silver and gold trays were returned while the reed baskets of the poor were not. One might question, shouldn't the needy recover their baskets? Reb Aharon Bakst unveils a profound insight. The Torah doesn't disregard the poor's needs. It upholds their dignity. Imagine a meager offerings of a few grapes and fruits, and removing them from the basket would spotlight the donor's poverty, a heavy blow to self-worth. The Torah asserts that preserving one's dignity outweighs the cost of the basket. Wealth can be regained, but the reclamation of dignity is an arduous journey. Embedded here is a timeless truth. Kindness must be twinned with respect. While extending a helping hand, we also must at all costs safeguard the recipient's pride. Allow me to illustrate with a poignant tale. In the enchanting city of Krakow, in a time before the tumultuous storm of World War II, there lived two inseparable friends, Yossi and Mendel. Their camaraderie was forged through shared laughter, study, and the kind of brotherhood that only grows in the heart of childhood. They attended the same cheder, studied in the same school, and their homes were always open to one another. Amid the cobblestone streets of the old world charm their friendship, it blossomed like a rare flower. However, destiny took a tragic turn when Yossi's father passed away, suddenly leaving him alone with his mother, and grief settled like a heavy fog, and their once vibrant house grew quiet. Months later, on a crisp winter day, Mendel crossed paths with Yossi and his mother. Mendel's new shoes were an incongruity against the winter backdrop, prompting Yossi's longing eyes and aching heart. His plea for new shoes was like a wail of desire, a wish that seemed unattainable in their circumstances. Yossi's mother struggled to provide even the basics, and in new shoes, they were a luxury they just couldn't afford. In the innocence of youth, Yossi persisted, and Mendel, seeing the holes in his friend's shoes, recognized the truth of Yossi's plight. A boy of remarkable empathy, Mendel offered, "Take my shoes." And despite Yossi's mother's protests, they exchanged shoes on that cold day. Yossi danced off with joy, while Mendel's feet embraced the wetness of the snow-covered ground, for his heart was as warm as his gift. Sadly, tragedy struck yet again when Yossi's mother passed away, leaving him an orphan in every sense. And when Mendel learned of this, he approached his father with an unwavering request. "Yossi has no parents, Dad. He's got to live with us." Practicality clashed with compassion, and while Mendel's father was kind, the small house seemed too big an obstacle to overcome. The heartache was immense, and Mendel went missing, and his family frantically searched for him. He was discovered asleep on a bench in the Bet Midrash, Yossi by his side, and Mendel refused to leave Yossi alone in the world. And in the end, his father found a way to welcome him into their home. As World War II erupted, as we all know well, lives splintered, stories of survival were woven. Yossi's path led him to America, while Mendel's journey brought him to the holy land of Eretz Yisrael. And through unimaginable trials, they both emerged as survivors, bearing the weight of their shared history. Years later, Mendel became Rav Mendel, a revered Talmid Chacham in the sacred city of Yerushalayim. The time had come to marry off his oldest daughter, but financial uncertainty loomed over the celebration. Despite the sweltering heat, he visited the Kotel on Tisha B'Av, a yearly tradition since its liberation in '67, and as he fervently prayed and wept for all that was lost, he felt this unsettling gaze upon him. Attempting to escape the scrutiny, he moved to a more secluded spot, yet the gaze persisted. With curiosity, he approached the stranger and asked, "Rabbi, is everything all right? I've noticed your watchful eyes." The stranger's voice quivered as he uttered a single word, "Mendel?" Rav Mendel's eyes locked onto the man's face, his memory stirred by familiarity. "From Krakow?" the stranger inquired. Rav Mendel affirmed with a nod, puzzled by the man's emotional reaction, and in an awe-inspiring gesture, the stranger pulled out an envelope and handed it to Rav Mendel. $20,000 US, which by the way is the equivalent of about 150 grand today. Confused and touched, Rav Mendel questioned, "What's this for?" Tears welled in the stranger's eyes. His voice choked with emotion as he replied, "The shoes. I never had the chance to repay you for the shoes." In a moment of profound connection, the past converged with the present, and Rav Mendel and Yossi, the two souls bound by a history of sacrifice and friendship, collapsed into each other's arms, their shared grief and joy echoing through time. Mika Amacha Yisrael. In the garden of life, we scatter seeds with every action, often unaware of the potential they hold. Yet one truth remains unshakable. The seeds we sow today shape the harvest of tomorrow. Each choice, each mitzvah is a seed just waiting to germinate, bearing fruit that we simply cannot comprehend. With every interaction, we wield the power to nurture growth or hinder it, chas v'shalom. It's the 15th of Elul. Let's plant wisely. Shabbat shalom u'mevarach.